Hi guys, today I'm going to demonstrate my favourite DIY protein treatment on a budget. The way to think of it is protein is the building blocks of your hair. The majority of your hair's makeup is keratin, which is actually a protein in itself. Using heat such as curling tongs or straighteners and chemicals like bleach and permanent hair dye can actually break down those building blocks and cause damage, and that's why it's important to incorporate protein into your routine. I use permanent dye on my hair. Unfortunately, this is not my natural colour, so I find from time to time I do need to incorporate a little bit of protein into my routine to counteract the baddies that are in the box dye. So let's get started. So it's been a few months since my last protein treatment and my hair's starting to feel a bit like it needs a little bit of love, so that's what I'm going to demo in this video. So some signs to look out for if you're starting to wonder if your hair needs protein is it's overly fluffy and frizzy, which my hair is now. This is day 3 hair and I haven't refreshed, so I've got 2 days worth of products sitting in my hair and it still feels quite overly soft, overly fluffy and frizzy. Also, if you're combing your hair out in the shower and you'll find it's overly stretchy, that's another sign that your hair could do with some protein. I'm also finding, particularly on the first day, when you think my curls will be at their tightest because they're freshly washed, they're not actually holding the curl as well as I know they can do. It's taking 2 or 3 days of adding more and more product for my hair to be getting that correct amount of hold. The most commonly used word to describe how your hair feels when it needs protein that I've seen on social media is that your hair feels mushy. So if any of these things on this list apply to you, my advice would be, before you jump straight to a full-on protein treatment, I would start incorporating some products with protein into your routine. So I would probably start with a conditioner that contains protein first, because it's very difficult to get back from protein overload. Protein overload, as the name suggests, is when there is too much protein in your hair. It's a very delicate balancing act, so you have to approach it with caution. So the most common signs that your hair is in protein overload is that it goes very matted and it feels like straw. It can also actually cause your hair to snap if there's too much protein in it. Now, like I said, it is difficult for your hair to come back from protein overload, so the only thing that I have seen advised is lots and lots of moisturising deep treatments and time and patience. So I've got my bowl of hot water, hot, not boiling, and because I've got quite a lot of hair, I'm going to use 2 sachets of just Dr. Oetker gelatine powder. It's £1.20 for a pack of 3 in Tesco's, so I get 2 packs, so I have enough for 3 treatments. So I'm just going to rip it open and dump it into the hot water, and it says specifically in the recipe, add the gelatine to the water, not the other way around. There we go for the second packet. I will warn you as well, if you haven't tried this before, be prepared for the stench. Honestly, it is just vile. Let's dump this in too. And then using a fork, I sort of whisk it together as quick as I can because it sort of solidifies around the edges quite quickly. That looks pretty much dissolved. So next I'm going to take my all-time favourite conditioner, and I have done a video raving about this if you're interested, the Child's Farm Strawberry and Organic Mint Conditioner. This smells so nice. So I'm just going to take a decent enough dollop so that it sort of thickens up the mixture a little bit. Again, whisky whisk. So it should go a sort of, try not to tip it all over the floor, like a sort of creamy texture. And then the secret ingredient, apple cider vinegar. This bottle here, you can see it's a decent size, £1.19 in Home Bargains, and if you can see the sort of the sediment floating around, I'm not sure if the camera is picking it up, that's the mother. That is where the goodness is, and this is what you want to be looking for. So the reason why I'm using this is just a decent splash, not too much because it's quite drying. The reason why I put apple cider vinegar in is I read online that it helps seal the cuticle after you've applied the protein treatment, and it seals in all that shine and happiness. So that is what it looks like. So I'm going to apply my treatment to dry hair, and I did used to do it to wet hair where I consider my hair to be low porosity, but I cannot stand the way it feels when it's trickling down your ears. So that's why I've started doing it on dry hair. Now, I'm sectioning my hair because the top of my hair is the part that I feel needs the most attention, because it's the most damaged due to mostly environmental factors. So I'm just going to quickly tie up the bottom of my hair. I will be treating the bottom of my hair. I'm just going to focus more on the top. So I'm just tying this out the way. And then the fun part starts. So I'm just draping a towel around my neck just to catch any drippage, keeping it clipped in. Let's see how long this lasts. Now, I'm sure it's probably advised to use gloves, but I never do. It's not like hair dye, so I'm not going to end up with stained hands. They'll just be a bit sort of for a while. So here's the mixture. Here's one I made earlier. I feel like I'm on Blue Peter. Now, I don't want any to go to waste, so I'm going to scoop it directly off the fork. And then I'm just going to slap it on the top layers of my hair first. The old scoop and slap. Feels horrible, but it does absolute wonders, especially if you've got quite damaged hair. Try not to drip it everywhere. I want to get it evenly distributed as well. You don't want some parts of your hair to be more proteiny than others. Oh, it feels horrible. Making sure I get all there. Right, now the other side. The old scoop and slap. I wonder if I can get that trending. Hashtag scoop and slap. So that's all raked through. That feels quite evenly distributed. So again, I'm just gonna put it up out the way, making sure I can get sort of the back of my hair as well. And then I'm going to just do the same to the bottom half of my hair, making sure I really focus on the ends. Getting a bit up close and personal there, sorry. So you can see all my root regrowth. I will be dealing with that soon, don't worry. It feels hideous, but it is honestly like magic. So I'm just massaging it all through, making sure it's all nicely coated. Nearly used all of it. So obviously, depending on how much hair you have, you can alter the recipe. So maybe only use 1 sachet of gelatine, don't use so much conditioner. It's entirely up to you. That is the beauty of your hair. Right, so that feels pretty saturated now. I've made a bit of a mess on my carpet. So now what I'm going to do is gather it all back up in one go. Step back a bit so you can see what I'm doing. Wrap it around in a sort of top knot. And then here comes the hack. Those of you with young kids, nappy sacks work amazingly to incubate your hair, trap that heat in, and help it process. And you look good doing it. I've actually had to answer the door to the builders with a nappy sack on my head once. That was fun. And there we have it. So I'm now going to wait for an hour, and I'm then going to co-wash my hair using the Child's Farm conditioner. And the reason why I'm going to co-wash as opposed to shampoo is that protein and apple cider vinegar, it can be quite drying to your hair. So I don't want to be getting it too dry. I'm going to focus on putting a little bit of moisture back in. And so I don't undo all the hard work of stopping my hair from being too over moisturised, the Child's Farm conditioner has a small amount of protein in it too. You ready, guys? Are you ready? So in the end, I only left on the protein treatment for about 45 minutes because I noticed, particularly around my hairline where it was exposed, it was starting to go a bit dry. I just did my usual wash day routine, but I swapped out the shampoo that I usually use for the conditioner that I regularly use, that Child's Farm conditioner. If you haven't seen my wash day video, I will post the link down in the description box. Once I've done the protein treatment, I noticed, particularly whilst I was brushing through the conditioner while I was detangling in the shower, my hair was clumping so much better. I'm not sure if the camera's picking it up, but I did notice as well my hair is a lot shinier, especially when it was wet. It feels a lot stronger as well. It's lost that sort of mushy feeling. And the weird thing is, I don't often notice that my hair feels mushy until after I do a protein treatment, and then I look back and think, oh yeah, I did need to do that. When I was diffusing my hair, I got a much better cast, so that hard, crunchy shell that forms over your hair whilst you're drying it. It's a lot bouncier as well, particularly this one around the front. You can just see it spring. What I love about the protein treatment as well, the magic that it casts over my hair, the curls start a lot further up towards my root. I notice when my hair's starting to need a protein treatment, the curls drop and they generally sort of start around my ears. There is also a lot less frizz in my hair because it's all been sort of put back together. So I just want to reiterate again, I'm going to get serious for a sec, guys. Before you attempt this protein treatment, make sure your hair needs protein. It's really difficult to come back from protein overload. So if your hair is feeling mushy when it's wet, if the curls are dropping, if it's overly fluffy and frizzy, if it stretches when it's wet, I would first start by incorporating a protein product into your normal wash day routine. See how you get on with that for a while. If your hair likes it and you think it could do with a little bit of extra help, then I would consider incorporating the protein treatment into the routine. That's what I did. I started off by adding the Child's Farm conditioner and then found my hair liked that small amount of protein, so I was able to then add more gradually. As a result, touch wood, in just over 3 years of being curly girl, I haven't had protein overload yet. So the biggest piece of advice I would give throughout this whole process, and to be fair with anything, is listen to your hair. If your hair is calling out for protein, add a little bit of protein. If your hair is overly dry, add a little bit of hydration and moisture. That'll also help you determine how long you leave on this protein treatment. So I normally leave it on for around an hour. But today, because it was starting to get dry, I only left it on for 45 minutes. So if your hair is finer or not as long as mine, you would probably then need to leave it on for even shorter. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. My hair and I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments what your favourite protein treatment is and if there's anything else you want to see. And as always, don't forget to hit like and subscribe for more content. I'll see you soon. Bye bye! And a hair dye. Hair dye. All day. Guy on the motorbike going past. I'm going to use 2 sachets. Whiskey whisk. And then just drip it all down my top. Once it's had the protein treatment, I always... It's so excited I am by my hair.